there, and then they have that third one from the Oxford University that's like kind of in trials. What I found interesting from reading it was just that like, dude, you gotta store these ones in different places. It's very like high tech, like technical, you know, like the way they're gonna be distributed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like right now, all I see in my feed is just like CBC saying, "Oh, soon, we're gonna get shipments out." Blah 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 blah. I could see a shipment coming in by like the new year, no problem.
Right, exactly. And like that's like the States, and that's here, right? So I'm guessing that are we getting it before them, or I'm not even sure about that.
We might get it before them because like there's multiple places that are kind of like leading the race for research.
Yeah.
And usually they're like government institutions or like a scientist guild or whatever, right?
Yes. So yeah, it's interesting, man, because the thing is, what I was reading was interesting was like, dude, they're having all these trials and everything like that, but you don't know like how that virus is gonna affect us. You know what I'm saying? Like later on after taking it, and like they still don't know like how long that like immunity will last. You know what I mean? Once taken, like you have to take it every 5 months or a year. That's what's interesting, you know?
Yeah, and I'm starting to see now like what some other people are saying in terms of like possible, like how is it going to be applied in terms of legislation? Will they go kind of like Australia wants to go? It's like, well, no jab, no job kind of thing.
Oh, okay, there you go. Yeah, because actually, you know, I work at the grocery store, so I'm getting all kinds of questions about this too, right? So one guy was actually talking to me, and like one customer, he goes, Matthew, I don't know if you know, but am I gonna have to use a vaccine to shop here after? And I couldn't really answer him because like I don't even know if we're gonna have to be vaccinated to be working, you know, in the public just because we work with food, right?
Yeah, I have a feeling you guys would be like on a higher priority just because you're right there in the thick of it.
Yeah.
But I really think the healthcare workers would probably be the first.
Yeah, they're top of the line because they're right there with like the infected patient.
Yeah, and like so far, I mean, it seems adults are probably going to be just your regular, adult, right?
Yeah. When you say adult, you mean like 18 to what? Like you're talking 18 and up, right?
I think more just like 28 to 45.
Oh, so you don't even consider before that adult?
Yeah, I don't know. Before that, it's just like youth, right?
Yeah. Okay.
I guess just because of like the system I've been working in, right?
Yeah. Okay. True. I was gonna say, shouldn't it like where you work? You're like kind of with around people that are like kind of like. Shouldn't you be priority too? Because you're around those kind of people too, right? They're not infected people, but they're like people who are more at risk, no?
Yeah, I would be. The thing is, though, I'm not like I'm not on the floor or like on the front lines.
Oh, you're in the office.
No, I'm at home. I'm on a leave.
Oh, okay, there you go. I didn't understand that. But I guess, but before when you were like in like at the place, like was it like were you in the office or were you with the people?
Oh, before I was both, man, all over. I was in the office with the people, doing programs and shit, and now it's just like you can't do anything. So
Yeah.
I think the biggest challenge, like I know eventually you're gonna have to be going back, but the biggest challenge is gonna be to try and I don't know, just get used to the whole scene, man. Because sometimes it can be a little hard, like you do your best, but it's just like you're part of a big system / cycle,
Yeah. So hold on. So you were like that before, where you were around with the people, and then I would think that when you were at that point doing all that, you would have been more like at risk to get something. You would have been considered more like maybe frontline, right?
Yeah. Because the thing is, I left before even the first wave started.
Oh,
I
it was
left.
a while ago then.
Yeah. I left around like Feb of this year.
Oh yeah, and you see, well, I was just talking to that with someone else that like this whole thing started popping up like in spring, March, you know what I'm saying? It was like, oh, what's this virus, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, and the thing is now, like in retrospect, the second wave, it was like, dude, it was everything everybody thought or said it was gonna be. That's the funniest part.
Yeah.
Like, not like haha funny, just like, ironic funny. Dude, 'cause the first wave was nothing. I remember it was like we were still like phase 3. Everything seemed like okay. Yeah, we're gonna start
I think
coming.
it was still open. I think there was still clubs open.
Yeah, like bars were opening up, clubs were starting to like book stuff, and
Yeah,
it looked like everything was gonna go. I don't know, air quotes, back to normal, and then it got worse, right? And then we saw it for ourselves. I remember, like the hospitality industry took a huge hit. Just like there's all these people, these like bartenders and waiters and waitresses and so on and so forth. Like they make their money off tips,
Exactly.
right? So it's like they're there to. It's almost like they're more than a waiter at that point, depending on the restaurant, right?
Yeah, exactly.
They're like a host. They're almost like an ambassador.
And I kind of felt like it's kind of like, because when all that was happening, the sense I got from people around me just talking about it was just like, okay, we have this thing happening now, but it's going to fizzle out in a couple of weeks or a few months or a month or whatever, right? And then we're going to be able to do whatever we want, like go here, like, go to Cabana, get a booth, you know what I mean? Like, hit up those like boat parties and all these other kind of things. Go to that park with like 100 people, have a barbecue. You know what I mean? Like people were already like still trying to get it going while this was on the side, trying to ignore it. Because I think wasn't that around the same time that they had that huge crowd in the Trinity Bellwoods or whatever it was there. Remember that? Was that
Oh yeah, where they had to draw the fucking circles.
And it was just like, is this what you call distancing? And there was a bunch of people.
It's just like the latest crazy thing I've seen was, I think it was in a mall up in like Newmarket or whatever, and some dude was getting arrested for not wearing a mask. But I was just thinking, like, this seems a little too convenient that somebody just started to record when somebody's getting like mashed to the floor, arrested, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, there was only one comment. There was only one interaction on that post. Nobody wanted to touch that shit with a 50-foot pole. And one person commented like, "Oh, it's such an abuse of power," and
Wow,
I was just like, "I need more context."
for real.
Oh my gosh!
See, for me, it's just like, yeah, you know, when you see those kind of videos, I saw it too. What you're talking about on the Mi Gente, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Instagram. So I like when you see those kind of videos, it's kind of like, okay, what did he do? How far was he? How much did he disrespect the police for that to start happening? Because a bunch of stuff happened before that to get to that point.
Yeah, because like nowadays, I know police know better than to like start that shit, right? Because they're like, at the end of the day, there's always going to be somebody recording.
They're under the microscope, police.
Yeah, and I feel like it's fine because their position in society is quite high. Because especially I kind of wish my buddy was here, because when he was like a cop, dude, it's fucking crazy. It's crazy because you can see it's one of those like social mobility jobs. It's just automatically gets you like respect.
Yeah, like you're talking about cop, right? Like cop, like the job cop.
Yeah. It's just it's almost like one of those like socially ingrained like respected jobs, I guess, right? Like I have no issues with cops, right? Because for me, they've always been. I've had great experiences. It's not to like diminish anybody else's. Like I'm sure, there've been officers that have made mistakes, and I think the best way forward is just to make sure they get punished for it, right?
Exactly.
Because the biggest, for me, I would just imagining myself to like put myself in the shoes of people feeling that kind of stuff or experiencing the effects of that kind of discrimination, it's just like, it's huge.
Exactly. And you see, for me, my example with that is just like I have a friend, right? And he would say he would have an uncle in his own family who was a cop, and he would call him like a traitor. You know what I'm saying? Or
Yeah.
he's against us or something. And it's kind of like, why do you see your own family that way just because of other than when he takes off the uniform, he's the same guy you knew before that. And I don't think you were calling him a traitor before that. You know what I mean? So it was kind of confusing to kind of understand that mentality. But then again, I don't know where he's coming from in terms of the experiences he's had with other cops that aren't necessarily his uncle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a little bit it's kind of like you don't know where people are coming from sometimes, but you just try and stay. For me personally, I try and stay neutral. Talk about my experiences, you know.
Exactly. It's like I think that's what really helps. I guess, I don't know. Looking at kind of like a broader or a bit of a tangent, it's just like it's what helps to keep perspective, man. Especially in times like this, it's just like people are losing their shit over the stuff that generally, I think before all this pandemic, they would just probably squash their shit and walk away and be like, listen, I have better stuff to do, right?
Exactly.
And it never boiled over past, passive aggressive, right? But, that energy was always there, right?
It's just more controlled before. More contained.
Yeah, now people just... Dude, anybody that goes out, I feel like it just... They make it as okay, well, if anything happens to me, then I'll go out doing whatever I want to do and do it my way, right?
Exactly. Or people nowadays, they'll just tell you whatever, like that lady in the store to you. You know what I mean? They're not afraid to say whatever they want to you now. You know, there's no respect anymore for people, for others.
Oh yeah, no. I honestly think that lady, maybe she was stressed out, because I didn't lash out. I'm just like, listen, I don't know you, stranger danger, whatever.
Yeah.
And I honestly felt better for it. Yeah, there was a moment where I honestly thought, dude, okay, I'm gonna give her a piece of my mind. But then there was a part of me that's just like, no, I'd rather go home and have dinner.
Yeah, not deal with this right now.
Yeah, no.
I actually saw a video. I'm not sure where it was. It was on IG. You know, IG, you're just scrolling through something. You're like, oh, I like that video, and I want to show someone later. That's why you should see my save on my IG. There's I got a bunch of saved just to show people. And so there's one video I saw. It was from Winnipeg. I don't know if you saw it. It was a cop stopping a couple.
Yeah.
And then the lady in the car asking the cop why he does not have his mask on when he comes to talk, when he came to write them up or ticket or something.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, so instead of he was about to give them a warning, but because the woman asked that, he got pissed off or thought oh, how dare you ask me that or something. And he was like, you know what? I'm actually gonna detain you guys to come in with me. And he was like, follow me or something you know what I mean? So it's kind of what happened? She's like, why are you doing that? Just because I asked you, do you have a mask on? I can't ask you. He's like, no, well, you're not being right. I was gonna give you a warning, but now I'm doing this. You know?
Yeah, because the thing is, I've never seen them outright just be like, yo, I don't like your face, I'm gonna arrest you. They give people chances, right? And yes. I feel now this whole wave of, or I don't know, generation of people that started this thing of filming everything, when in reality they're only filming the part that I don't know, this is just the way I see it. This is my opinion at this point, but it's just I feel they're almost only filming the part that'll get them famous.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like a viral part, you mean?
It's almost it's just weird. And I see it a lot in social media. It's this weird thing of it's the currency of clout, right?
Oh yeah, that's a big thing now.
And I don't understand it, and I avoid it. I just go and I do my thing, because it's just